This scene hit me so freaking hard. Like, bro, the emotions I had when Kaguya was just under the stairs, like in the back alley or whatever, by herself. She was just lonely, had no one there. I'm like, oh my god, is this really happening? Like, are we really gonna get a finale that's this legit sad? I'm like, there's no way. And I was like, there better be a season 2 announcement if you're gonna end me on a cliffhanger like this. I thought something like that was gonna happen, because the last episode was incredibly sad. It had a really sad conclusion because Kaguya and Miyuki were not able to meet up, and I was like, is it gonna happen again for this episode? I'm like, please don't do that to me. Don't do this to me, Kaguya-sama. I don't want that. And then Miyuki appeared around the corner. It just said something so cliche, so cheesy, but so amazing, because it fit the moment so perfectly. I was like, that's my boy. That is my freaking boy, Miyuki. That is my boy. Like, yo. What an episode. What a freaking finale of this show. Kaguya-sama has been a blast. It's been such an emotional field trip, like, when it comes to just the comedy, just to the entertaining nature of it. It's such a wonderful series, and I'm just, oh my god, like, I really hope one day that this series gets a season 2. So let's get right into that. So, this is finally over. This series, it's come to its conclusion, at least season 1. Now, at this time, there is currently no announcement for a season 2, which is very sad to hear, but at the same time, we gotta remember that with how popular this series is, and from what I'm being told, in Japan, this series is incredibly popular, that must mean that eventually, one day, we will get probably a season 2. It may not be this year, but maybe sometime next year, maybe in 2020. And if we do get a season 2 for this year, or at least an announcement, I would assume we're going to get it announced probably at the end of 2019, basically somewhere around fall, somewhere around winter, because you gotta remember, when it comes to the production community, they plan a lot of anime ahead, they plan a lot of things to come out at a certain time, and maybe they never expected Kaguya-sama to just be this fantastic, or just to go this far, and so they didn't have season 2 prepared to be able to air quickly, in a quick succession, because I believe there is a lot of content still left for, you know, the manga, for the anime to adapt from the manga. The whole episode really had such a great way to get your emotions riled up, because it started off very sad, like actually happy, but then kind of sad. It got sadder and sadder and sadder until the final part of the episode. Basically, it starts off for Kaguya. She's been waiting so long to be able to see these fireworks with her friends. Like, she hasn't done anything at all the entire summer, and she's been counting down the days for when she could finally spend time with Miyuki and everybody else, a part of the group, a part of the student council, to have some fun. And when you see that day finally arrive, she's about to be able to have fun, about to be able to do something, you see the, like, headmaid or whatever come in and is like, Kaguya-sama, because of your actions, because of how you are, you're not allowed to go. And I'm just like, what? Like, what's she been doing? Like, I mean, when you think about it, she's been kind of tied up by herself a little bit inside her house. You're telling her she's been a little bit off or whatever. Like, what are you talking about? She's trying to have just a normal summer or whatever. And you think that's bad? And it wasn't just that either. It was also the fact that she's been looking forward to this for so long, but just having someone come up and say that to you, it's soul-crushing. It really is. I mean, imagine the one day you've been looking forward to for like weeks to months or whatever, it finally happens, and then the day it's about to happen, you're told, no, you can't do that. That would hurt. That hurts me, because stuff like that can happen. Like, you prepare so hard for something, you're expecting, you're like, yes, 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 and then all of a sudden it's just ripped away from you, you're like, you're just in a state of just shock and sadness. And seeing her cry, get sad, and basically say, like, you know, I can't do anything, I can't go, it hurt me, because I'm just like, man, like, she really wanted to, but she can't because of how her family situation is and how terrible of a father she has, her parents in general. It's a horrible situation. Thankfully, Hayasaka was able to actually really be a great female character, great support character once again, and help out Kaguya to be able to actually have a fun day, to be able to see the fireworks. It wasn't like they all expected, and Kaguya didn't technically get to see the fireworks, which I'll get into, but overall, it was just a great great episode for all the emotions, through the gradual happiness to the downward spiral of sadness, back up to happiness once again. It's just, yes, this is how you do a finale. This is how you do a finale for a slice of life rom-com, or not, this ain't a rom-com, slice of life romance story. This is how you do it. And I want more of this. I do hope season 2 is announced. So let's get into the nitty-gritty details. Miyuki and Kaguya. So Miyuki, like I said, he did some really cringy stuff. He said some cringy lines, which were very cheesy. He even admitted that towards the end of the episode, but it does not change the fact of how right those words were for that very moment. They were perfect for that moment to really just get his feelings across. Like that moment when he said, oh, the guess what Kaguya-sama is thinking or whatever, when he like says that, I'm like, oh, like he just admitted he's constantly thinking about her. He's constantly thinking about what, you know, she does and all that. He just admitted he's always trying to think what she's thinking. That was a great moment. It was basically him confessing to her, but she was just in a state of shock because of the way he said it. You know, she was being whisked away to be able to see the fireworks. And when they got into the taxi, and you see the taxi dude actually start kicking the pedal to the metal, and he's just driving him like yo, someone cue deja vu up. Like we need a deja vu going on in that moment. Soon as that scene happened, like the man started to floor it and all that. He's like, I can do this. I can get there a little bit faster. And you have, you know, Ishigami. He's like, who is this cool taxi driver? Just overall amazing. Oh my god, like, oh, what a great scene. Honestly, I think this is the best episode of Kaguya-sama. Like, out of all the episodes before this, this is probably the best episode, because it has everything you technically want. It has, technically, confession. It has a beautiful, beautiful finale, like, with emotions and all of that, and it gets the point across to what the series is kind of about. I think this is a way you end an anime series. Like, even if this never got a season 2, which I doubt it will go without getting a season 2, but even if it never got a season 2, I think this is a very satisfying anime series. It's very satisfying because you know what to expect. It's obvious that these two are totally into each other. They love each other, and you know, one of these days they're probably going to figure it out. They're going to realize it because of how they interact with each other. Like the whole Twitter scene when, you know, there was a text message that said like her emotion, she wants to see the fireworks, and then, you know, you see Miyuki's like, Roger, got it. And he just starts running over on his bike. I'm just like, yo, this man, he's really intelligent, really smart. He's constantly thinking ahead, and you can see in that moment he knew something was off, and he went after to find out where, you know, Kaguya was. Which, that's what I really am happy about when it comes to this series, is that the characters aren't dumb at all. I mean, like, seeing Miyuki figure out what's going on with Kaguya, and he's like, Roger, and when he sees Hayasaka that was doing a disguise, he's like, he's like, I understand, and he starts searching for Kaguya. Just those little scenes really matter. I mean, it fits in with Miyuki's character because he is very intelligent. It makes me happy to see consistency, because a lot of romance drama series typically like to downgrade our characters, make them dumb, just to be able to do certain things, and I'm glad that this is not the series to do that. For instance, the characters, they still, you know, retain their character traits, and they still act very smart or stupid if they are stupid to be able to get certain things done in the story. Let's talk about that final part of the episode, which was Kaguya and Miyuki trying to say something to each other, and they were constantly crossing each other and all that, and they weren't being able to actually say anything. It was a great moment because there was a lot of, like, heavy air in the room. It wasn't bad heavy air, but it was like, Kaguya, obviously, she's very bashful. She's shy. And she doesn't know what to say because after everything, all these emotions she was feeling earlier on in the episode, feeling like she was not going to be able to see anyone, not be able to see the fireworks, you know, she was just taken out of that world, that dark world, and brought into something very happy and light in that moment. You got to see someone so beautiful, so amazing, that really just cheered her up in those few minutes, which made her become what she was in the later half of the episode. And so I understand, like, where she's come from, why she would act like that. And Miyuki, obviously, he was very embarrassed because he said some things that he normally wouldn't say under normal circumstances. He said, like I said, very cheesy cliche lines, but he said that because it's what he meant in that moment. He really meant those emotions, and because he hasn't seen her in just so long, he wanted to say the first thing that came to his mind. He just could not hold back. So they both pretty much had a lot of confessing going on in this episode, and I couldn't ask for a better finale. I really couldn't. So yeah, that's this series. Kaguya-sama, Love is War, has officially come to an end. It's quite the journey. It's been fun since episode 1. I do hope when Season 2 is announced, and it will be eventually, I'm assuming, you know, it's going to be just as good as this. I doubt it'll be horrible, but anything can happen from, you know, now and then. But, yeah, I want more. And thank you so much for everybody that's constantly been recommending this series for a very long time. Actually, since the manga first started coming out, many were telling me to watch this series or read the series or whatever. Many were saying, like, you need to get on Kaguya-sama Love is War, and I could see why. I see why many have recommended this series to me so much now because of just how quality this episode was. So, tell me, manga readers, how do you feel about this anime adaptation? How did it follow the manga? Was it a good anime adaptation? Was it a bad anime adaptation? Did it get everything you know and love from this series and really just make it a hell of a lot better? And anime onlys, I know how I feel about it. I know I enjoyed this series, but how do you feel about Kaguya-sama? Do you think this is one of the best series of Winter of Anime 2019? Do you think that this is definitely, potentially, one of the best series of the year? Be honest in the comments below. I am very curious to see what everybody feels or thinks about this finale, and if you want more. So with that, I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Thank you so much for constantly recommending this. I cannot, express that enough. I love you guys. Stay healthy. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified. So if you do want to get notified, hit that bell icon. And with that, Chibi out.